Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy. This is my weekly reading where we talk all about what to expect out of the weekly energy so that we can master it, so we can make the most out of what we have coming up, and so that you can check in with yourself and see, where am I feeling these things? How is this impacting me? It's really great. It helps us to be strategic for the rest of the week. We're going to talk about what's going on in the energy. What I like to do in these readings is first talk about the channeled messages from the angels. What do you need to know with that? And then we dive into the tarot. So we build upon the messages with the tarot cards to help to put together a little bit more of the picture of what we can expect and how we can make the most of it. How are you guys doing? How are we feeling? Things lighten up a little bit. I'm feeling like with Mercury out of retrograde, with Mercury having gone direct, especially in the past couple of days, it is starting to feel a bit lighter. It is starting to feel a bit less cloudy, although I think that there still is a bit of confusion in there, still a bit of trying to understand where we need to go next, what we need to go next. And I think that if we allow ourselves to just let ourselves be led, to let ourselves continue to go with the flow, that's gonna help to support us in this energy. It's a difficult energy for me to explain this week. And I'm gonna try to do my best. But the thing is, with energy, it is something that we connect with in the creative mind. And so sometimes it's difficult to put into words, but I do my best with that. So I called this video, "The Thing Is, You Were Always Meant for Something Greater." Because I think that what we're finding, or that we're going to be finding throughout the course of this week, is how some things are being orchestrated for a higher path for us. There's been a lot of redirection in the energy, right? Where we have had things stop before they get started, or where we will start to think that something is moving in one direction and then that falls apart. I've heard a lot of stories from people about that stuff. Or we have thought that things were moving in one direction and then we get hit with a total curveball, a total surprise, good, bad, whatever. And so there's been a lot of that. And this redirection energy has very much been God's protection. And so I think that that's so important for us to hear. Hi, Christopher Stilson. I love you. I see you there in comments. That's very much been where we are. And I think that there's been some frustration in some ways with that for people, just not understanding, why is it happening the way that it is, or why did it not happen the way that I wanted it to happen. But what this actually has been, and what I think that we're going to start to understand a little bit this week, is the way that these have all been adjustments to help support us in living on a higher timeline, or living a better life, a better path, because we have options available to us, right? We have options in terms of the path that we take and the direction that we go. But I think that part of the reward for all of the hard work that we as a collective have been doing for the past few years is that we get to shift into a higher path, a better path, a path that allows us to be greater than we as human beings expect ourselves to be, right? We tend to play it smaller, or see it smaller, or have a tunnel vision in terms of what we are wanting to create, or what is possible for us to create. Now, our ego might be thinking, oh, well, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. And that's not necessarily what I'm talking about, right? Because if that's not being created for you, either that's not meant for you, or deep down, you don't really believe that you deserve that. And so there's that, but it feels like, I'm sorry, it's hard to find the words to explain this, but it feels like these readjustments so that we can be living the life that is absolutely best for us. And that decision is being made by God, the universe, whatever that is that you call that, that has that bird's eye view as to what's coming next, what we've already been through, what we've already experienced, what our plan was for when we came here to Earth. So there's all of these factors that are part of this that are deciding the higher path. And so it's going to be extra important right now for us to trust that path, for us to trust the way in which things are unfolding, because it's truly leading us into things that are better for us, are more aligned for us, most connect with our authentic selves. Have you guys ever had those experiences in life where you've been doing something one way for so long, and then you take a look at it and you go, why do I do it this way? Or why do I continue to do this thing that I don't even like anymore? Or why do I continue to connect with or associate with these people that, if I really ask myself, do I like to be around this energy? The answer to that is no. Why do I continue with that, right? And it feels like this energy is unhooking us from old stuff that we've been stuck in for a long time. So that leads me to this concept that is also really apparent in this energy right now, that things are being cleared, that we are being shown what we need to see. I want you to pay attention to what you are being shown, because that will show you what you need to understand about your circumstances, about where things need to change, about who people are, all of it. And it's so important for us to be honoring that and paying attention to that. And there's very much, I won't be surprised at all if we pull that moon card in the tarot cards, because it is kind of this moon energy still as we're pulling out of these retrogrades, where it's not totally clear yet. Like I know that I'm moving forward with some things, but I don't quite know where this is going. But I think it's our job to keep putting one foot in front of the other and continuing to move forward, even if we're just, okay, now this is a step that I need to take, and now this is a step that I need to take. And slowly but surely, we are progressing down a path where we're allowing ourselves to be led by our higher power. And that is how we're going to be most successful here in this energy. To allow ourselves to be redirected, even where our ego is saying, but this over here, this is what I want. But the problem is that so many things that our ego wants is not aligned with what our higher self wants for us and what our higher power wants for us, because again, there's a bigger vision at hand here. And if we can allow it, all of this supports us in becoming the most self-actualized version of ourselves, the absolute best version of ourselves. And I feel like there's so much that wants to support us in that. Part of this is we're being shown clues. And what I mean by that is I want you to notice where your daydreams are taking you. Where is your mind letting you go? Because there's a lot of creative energy that I'm feeling right now. And that creative energy is helping us to see the vision that God has for us. So those daydreams are part of that vision. Especially if it feels good, if it feels light, if it feels like, wow, like if I could do that, if I could have that experience, that would feel so aligned for me. Because all of this is about bringing us into a place where we feel more aligned. Part of that is also in unhooking ourselves from the past. And we've been doing that through those retrogrades, but I still feel like we're a bit in this energy where it's like, I felt it a lot this week, breaking past those limitations from the past. So where in the past we have limited ourselves or felt limited, I think if we allow it, our minds are connecting with this understanding of an expansion, of growth, of development, and where and what is possible for us. I think that this is so powerful. But in order to get there, we have to see how we have been limited and where we have limited ourselves. And that second part is really important. Where have we been limiting ourselves? Through our beliefs, through our habits, through, maybe just allowing ourselves to remain within a comfort zone, through maybe not accepting or allowing opportunities. I think so often we don't take opportunities because we doubt ourselves. And so can we lean into a little bit more of a belief that we're capable of achieving these things, of doing these things that our daydreams are bringing us into? Because we're having those daydreams because it's something that we're meant to manifest for ourselves. It's something that we're meant to create for ourselves. But again, we have to allow ourselves to be led. It's very much like when you put that destination into the GPS. You put the destination into the GPS and you let yourself be guided in terms of what steps you need to take. You pay attention, you listen for directions, and I feel like right now is a time for us to be listening for directions, even if we don't know what that destination is, or we only know a part of that destination. Because I also think that there's a lot of surprises with this. I think there's a lot of, we want one thing, but God knows, the universe knows that there's something so much greater for us over here, and that is really the destination. So it's like, I'm putting this in my GPS, but really God's like, nope, I'm going to put this into the GPS because this place over here is so much better and so much more aligned. I do feel like there's an energy here where it's like, it's helping us to connect more with our empowerment. And it is an empowering energy this week. So letting ourselves lean into that and just be open to the possibilities for ourselves. Maybe possibilities that we've never considered before. This is a time to let ourselves be expansive with our dreams, with our visions, with our things that we're wanting to manifest and create, with our goals. I also think as we're releasing ourselves from the past, that we have to keep in mind that our past experiences do not need to determine our future experience. In fact, I think that it is crucial that we're working on disconnecting ourselves from that. So recognizing where does my past experience limit me in terms of my vision for the future? Where am I making assumptions about the possibilities of my future based on what my experiences of the past have been? Because I think that there's so much room for things to be different, to be better, to be like, it's, you know what I'm hearing in my head is like, who the heck's life is this? Right? Because I feel like there's openings here in this energy. And especially as we get closer to these eclipses, where it's like, we're recognizing that we're creating a totally different life than the life that we've had in the past, in terms of the ways that we've felt so limited, or that we've lived in a way that's smaller. We're letting ourselves be so much more expansive. And we're creating this life where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm celebrating this life that I didn't even know was possible. I didn't believe was possible. But now this energy is starting to support us in that belief that it's possible, or to move us in the direction where we can start to tap into that belief that it's possible. I've been calling this energy leading up to the eclipse season in mid-October, the Great Discovery. And I think the part of this is about us discovering our greatness. It's about us understanding ourselves and where we're keeping ourselves stuck, where we're holding ourselves back, and where we are letting the past define the future, and understanding that it doesn't need to, that we can shift into something better, that we can create something better. And we're no longer that child that was having that experience that created those beliefs. We're now an adult and somebody who has learned and developed and mastered skills and mastered life lessons, and we don't have to be that same person, and we don't have to be triggered in the same ways that we once were. So I hope that this is making sense. It's a lot that's happening, but it's really beautiful. It's like this unfolding that's happening. that's allowing us to live our most authentic lives. I keep talking about how authenticity and freedom, these were the words for 2023, and it's leading us into our authenticity and freedom. And part of that freedom is setting ourselves free, letting ourselves go, letting that ego go a bit, setting ourselves free from the ego and what the ego is trying to do for us, because the ego will operate out of fear and will try to keep us in those comfort zones, will try to keep us stuck or limited. And the truth of the matter is that you're limitless. We are limitless, all of us. In fact, let me hear that in the comments. I am limitless. And tell me how you guys are doing while I'm shuffling these cards. I would love to hear from you. This is beautiful energy. This is like, we're moving now, guys. We're shifting. And there's been so many blessings in these retrogrades. There truly have been. But we are really moving and changing and letting ourselves grow. Pull the rest of these cards and then I will read them for you guys. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys noticing the shift from the heaviness of the retrogrades? I know we still have some planets in retrograde, but I just don't feel those in the same way. I think we are looking at things collectively and where do we need to make significant collective change. I think that that's a big part of that. But I think personally, it's letting up a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at the cards. So the first card that we have is the Fool, of course, right? Being willing to bet it all on ourselves, being willing to lean into this new path that is starting to be shown to us. We're starting to see the breadcrumbs on that trail. And can we follow these breadcrumbs step by step, even if it requires us to do scary things, right? He's right at the edge of a cliff and they call him the Fool because he's willing to step right off this cliff. But is he really a fool? Because what he understands is that as he steps off, this is symbolic, right? And as he steps off, he understands that God will catch him, that God will support him, but he has to invest in this. He has to put his faith in this and be willing to move. You can't create anything if you're not willing to move. If you're not willing to take that risk, to take that leap, to make that change, to speak your truth, to do whatever it is right now that you're being called to do from the heart, right? King of Cups. I think that we have learned some really nice skills in the process of these retrogrades and all that we have. And specifically, I'm feeling like emotional regulation. And I'm not saying that we don't get emotional or that we don't get overwhelmed, but I feel like it's like there's a little bit of this energy with this card of if I could handle that, I can handle anything. And there's a little bit of that energy here with this. I also feel like we're ready to follow our hearts. We're ready to take action on where our heart is leading us. And to step into that and to own that as our truth. This is where my heart is leading me, and you may not agree with it, you might not get it, you might not understand it, but you know what? I'm gonna go for it anyway. Because I know what my soul is saying to me. There's no person on this planet, psychic or not, that can tell you the best life path for you. Can they show you your blind spots? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's so important that we're taking that time to tune in. And I think that that's what we've been doing. And I think that we're getting more and more clear. And I think as the week progresses, even more clear as to what our heart wants, what our soul is trying to show us. And part of that's going to come, by the way, through challenges, right? The Three of Cups is like us taking a look at where have I stepped away from a life that doesn't feel worth celebrating? Where have I not been having enough fun? Where have I not been celebrating the little things, the little wins? Where have I not been celebrating myself? Where have I not been taking the time and the space for that? And what do I need to do in order to have a little bit more fun in life, to enjoy myself, but at the same time, honoring where my soul is leading me? This is about, how do I explain this with words? This is about honoring those things that, and I think I said this last week, honoring those things that we know serve us for the long term, for the big picture, and not those immediate instant gratification things. Because I do feel like there's an energy right now where we can get caught in that. Like, oh, this feels good for the moment, so I'm going to do this. And I think we can get ourselves caught up in that and slow down our progress. Whereas I think that if we take a look at like what feels best for me for the bigger picture here, right? So I was using in my video with Davey the example of this concept of it feels better right now to be sitting on my couch, but I know that I need to be moving my body for my energy to feel right, for me to feel energized and to feel good. So the better choice is for me to move my body. So that's just something for me personally that I know serves me. But in the moment, in the comfort, my ego says stay on the couch. My ego says stay in bed longer and don't get up and go do that workout, right? But it's important that we're listening to the soul and what's going to be best for the long term. I'm feeling that a lot here in this energy. Also, finding those little moments of gratitude here. Where are we getting a little too far ahead of ourselves and feeling frustrated at where something isn't happening, and can we redirect and focus on what is happening? What do you have now that you wanted so badly 3 years ago? And what can you appreciate about your circumstances right now? Because you may never, you might not have that forever. Who knows, right? I think it's hard to know when we're in the good old days until we've moved out of the good old days. And what if these are the good old days? So I think that that's important for us to take a pause and acknowledge that. 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Where are my needs not being met? Where am I not receiving the energy back that I'm giving? Or where am I not feeling valued, supported? Maybe it's in my job and I don't feel like I'm being paid what I need to be paid, and where do I need to make changes to that? What do I need to do about that? Or maybe I feel like I'm giving and giving and giving within a relationship and not receiving the same back, and where do I need to make some changes with that? Or where do I even feel like I'm begging for things again and again and again, and I'm just not watching that change? And what do I need to do about that? Where do I need to make changes? I think that's going to help us to identify what changes we need to make. And that makes sense because the next card is the 8 of Cups. Then we decide there are some things that are worth walking away from in order to move in the direction of something better. And this is an energy, by the way, of not already having that better thing lined up. This is about faith. This is about trust. This is about knowing that if I say this doesn't quite align for me, and I might feel scared, but I'm going to make this change because I recognize on a soul level that this doesn't align for me. And then it's about being willing to walk away. It's about being willing to know that I haven't filled the space yet of what this is, but I know in my heart, I know in my soul that I'm heading the direction of something better. So the 8 of Cups is really powerful. It's faith. It's honoring your soul, but it's heading in the direction. Here we have this moon here. I was saying maybe we'll pull the moon. We didn't, but we have the moon, right? It's heading in the direction of the moon. He doesn't know that all will be well on a logical level, but on a soul level, he does. On a soul level, he feels that. And I think that that's really key and really important. And what is the direction that we're heading? We're heading in the direction of getting our priorities straight, 2 of Pentacles. getting things in order, Two of Pentacles, learning how to manage the things that have been coming up for us, right? So this feels a little bit like, where do I need to rebalance myself on the other side of all of these challenges? Where have I neglected myself? Where have I neglected certain things in my life? And where do I need to take care of some things? What needs to come into balance? Where am I investing my time and my energy into things that is in an unbalanced way, right? Maybe I'm saying yes to things I don't really want to be doing, or maybe I'm needing a lot more of something and I'm feeling that, and so can we honor that? And sometimes by creating space, by letting go of some things, we can head in that direction, because sometimes our plate is just too full. And I feel like we're clearing things off of our plates that just don't align. And by the way, some of this feels like mental energy, right? Where are we investing mental energy into things that aren't helpful, that are a waste of our time? Or where are we just investing our time in things that aren't helpful? And taking that energy and putting it into something that will develop and grow. I was watching a short on YouTube. Ed Milet is one of my favorites, and I was watching one of his, and he was talking about how where we're at now is a reflection of where we were 90 days, what we were working on 90 days ago, or 90 to 120 days, I think he said. And he called that, what was it? Like the echo of our soul, or something like that, right? And so it's based on this idea of what we're experiencing now is based on what we were doing 90 days ago, like what we're investing on, or if we're not feeling like things are together right now, 90 days ago, what were we doing to kind of throw us off track? And that felt really relevant for this energy this week, because I think that we have an opportunity here now to set the tone for where we will be 90 days from now. And that's always true, but that feels especially true here in this energy. I hope that makes sense. Let me know how these messages resonate with you. I always love to hear from you guys. If you guys are watching this on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Make sure that you're not unsubscribing, because I've had some people say that they accidentally did that because they were already subscribed and they went to hit that subscribe button. So don't unsubscribe. Make sure you're subscribing. It helps us support the channel. I still always do a happy dance every time that I see new subscribers. So thank you guys so much. If these messages resonate with you, please share them, or share them with somebody that you think needs to hear them. Tag them below, heart this video, like this video, whatever you want to do, but all of it helps to support these messages so that I can keep doing them every single week. All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all, and I will see you soon with another video. Take care.